Hi guys and welcome back to the channel. Welcome to the season 2 part 2 shorts break times. That I should have thought that out in my head before I said it. We are checking out the break time shorts today for season 2 part 2 of ReZero. That was much better, right? Anyway, this will also be the wrap-up video for season 2. I will be sharing my thoughts on season 2. I will be sharing certain aspects that I didn't share in the previous video, the finale. Nothing too exciting, just kind of like a generalized what I thought, here's what I liked, stuff like that, you know. But yeah, we're going to check this one out. This will be 12 shorts, I believe, 12 break time shorts. So beginning from the first episode of part 2 until the finale. It'll be interesting to go back and do it this way because I honestly can't remember the order of events for certain things within this part because so much was happening. I know that a lot of the first half-ish was kind of dealing with flashback stuff, so I wonder if we're going to go back to that and we're going to see certain things that maybe we didn't see in the episodes that were in the light novels or anything like that, like we did see with the season 1 break time shorts. So yeah, I'm very excited to check these out. The break time shorts are always a treat. They're always such a funny and fun way to finish out a season of ReZero, and I don't know for sure, but I hope they had them for season 3 as well. So yeah, why don't we just check this one out? If you guys do enjoy this video, and if you've enjoyed my reactions to season 2 and even season 1, whatever, of ReZero, please consider leaving a like and subscribe if you have not done so already. Of course, as always, share a comment down below letting me know your thoughts on the series as a whole and anything else that you'd like to share that doesn't lead into spoiler territory. And if you'd like to be notified when these videos and any others in the future go live, please hit the notification bell down below and that will notify you as soon as these videos are uploaded. And as always, share this with someone who you think might enjoy reaction content to ReZero. But yeah, that's going to do it. We're going to check this one out. ReZero, Season 2 Part 2, Break Time Shorts. Let's go. It has been a while. So yeah, let's see what we get in this re-break time from Zero. There it is. Wow, 4 different characters is crazy. Look at the chibis, they're back. Wow, does this look like a lot more detailed in the backgrounds than usual, or am I crazy? Yes, we know. Oh, she's forgetting about Ram. Yeah. What's Subaru running for? Is he trying to get her to remember by saying... He's trying to get her to remember in very subtle ways. That's adorable. Wow, the wind blowing, moving her hair. Yeah, this is back when you were still going through everything. Look at this smug asshole. Okay. Subaru has lost a lot. What are you talking about? He is not naive. That's what Betty's for. You and I. Otto. This feels more like an episode side plot than a little short. It's crazy. And the positive side of everything. Yes, Otto. That only you can do, I'm sure. So long as it isn't 0. Oh! You lost? That's funny. Yeah, so that was the first break time short, which was a very, very interesting new way to do these shorts. I can't recall another time where it felt like a continuation and opposed to just a little side gag with maybe a piece of information tied onto it. Like, does that make sense? Like, this feels very important and relevant. Like, and if they're all going to follow this format in this second half of the season, I'm very interested and excited to see just where we go and what we learn, because in this one, the most interesting and cool thing to me was that Subaru is calling Ram Nesama, sister, trying to get her to remember someone else calling her sister. And I'm not sure we've seen that in the series itself, Subaru doing this, so this is maybe a detail that was in the light novels that wasn't brought to the series until, you know, it was in the break time shorts. But not everyone will watch the break time shorts, and that's the sad thing about this, because not everyone will see this. This break time short did a great job of reminding me where we left off, where things were, what was happening at the very beginning of this half of the season. And within that, we see several different characters by themselves kind of thinking, and they're in their own thoughts, they're in their own heads and everything. And they're sharing their thoughts out loud for us, the viewer. But you get to see Subaru, who it starts off with, who's very upset still that Ram does not remember Rem. So he's going to try to help her remember. Ram, who just does not have any memory of Rem whatsoever, so she's just going about her day as though it's normal, and she can only think about how weird it is that Subaru's calling her sister. Yeah, there's not really much there for her either. But then with Roswell, he is smug and he's looking very confident in his ability to see this through, his conviction, and his plans had been put into place. So yeah, we're getting to see insights into each of those characters. And, you know, he does share that line at the end of, like, the only way you can win here is if you compromise, or if you can be in two places at once. Same as me. I'm not really sure how to interpret his same as me comment, unless he means that he can only oversee what is happening here. He can't control what's happening in the mansion type thing, because if he could, then he could be sure that his plan would win and Subaru's would lose. And then we cut to our boy Otto, who is simply thinking about how Subaru always acts out an emotion, and he wants to be able to see this through. They've agreed not to think about the outcome and the possibility of winning, and he starts to think about how similar he is to Subaru. And it's a very beautiful thought out scene here, because it takes everything that Roswell was saying and flips it on its head, and it shows you the positive outcome of all these negatives that Roswell was listing. So I love Otto's optimism. I love his character, especially in terms of the relationship he has with Subaru. And yeah, I can't wait to see where things go in the future with Otto, because sadly I feel like he kind of disappeared into the background the further this half of the season went on. And I'd love to see him kind of step up once again and be an important figure. So we're going to hopefully see that going into the future. But I think I'm ready to check out the second break time short, so here we go. Before we even start this one, I can see we're starting with Ricardo. It's not a black screen or the break time shorts logo. It's starting off with the character. So let's see what Ricardo has in store for us. Let's check this one out. Why are you angry? Julius! It's a Fang of Iron report. We got one of these in the first half, I believe. What? I don't understand that. She's a child. Okay, what are the good points? Let us hear them. List them. Tell me.
邪魔するやつらは皆殺し。
アホやめさせてもらうわ。
まあどんな仕事にも大事なことはあるわ。傭兵も騎士も、そして商人にも。
アナスタシア様の
Yulia's content in season 2? What?
何でしょうか。
そうやね。うちだけやないけど、商売に生きるもんにとって一番大事なもんは同じなんちゃうかな。
What is that?
誰しも同じ。
うちら商売をする人間はな、たとえ危険にさらされると分かってても、譲ったら絶対あかんもんってのがあるんや。
Your lives?
それを譲ってもうたら、もうまっとうな商売ができへん。そら命は惜しいよ。でもそれに負けて自分の譲れないところを譲ってもうたら、商人としてはおしまいや。
Shit.
譲ってはいけないもの、それは一体何でしょうか。
約束はしっかり守る。
Oh, promises.
まあ
Okay.
一度決めたことは曲げん。握った手は離さんみたいなことやね。それが
Yeah,
う
makes
ちだけ
sense.
やない商売人すべてにとっての矜持ってやつ。矜持。
絶対お前分かってへんやろ。
Ah, what does Mimi know about pride?
お姉さんも同じ矜持持ってる？
He
君
does.
についていったお兄さん？
Otto's full of pride.
しかもごっついの。
Yep.
お嬢がそこ
And
ま
you
で
tied
言う
him
のは
up.
珍しいな。
知っとるやろ？うち結
ね
構人を見る目あるんよ。
知っとるから言うたんや。珍しいなってな。
見る目。じゃあ耳のいい人が見つかったらお嬢に見てもらいませんかな。いいよ、任しとき。でもどんな人が好
Oh
みだ？
god, what's it gonna be?
すごい強いの。
Ricardo?
いるところ恐縮なのですが、そろそろ会議を始めなくては一日が終わってしまいますよ。
せやね。はよ詰め所行ったらな、ティビーと平太郎が待ちくたびれてまうわ。ほな、行こか。
Aye.
打ち合わせ。
どんなそれは。
For now. So that was the second break time short of season 2 part 2. And yeah, this one was much more like I'm used to for the break time shorts, not so much a story in itself, but kind of just giving you details and characters goofing and gaffing and just like nothing too serious going on. So that's what I've come to expect from these break time shorts. That's why the first one we saw today was very surprising, and it was really well done, that first one. And this one, you know, it's not so much anything new or unique, I would say. If anything, this one came off a little strange to me. Let me explain where I'm going with this, because obviously we know in this season, season 2, especially part 2, the whole idea of promises being so important with Amelia, and we learn why they're so important to her throughout this season. And you know, you can go back to season 1 now and remember times where Subaru broke promises and how that affected their relationship. But hearing Anastasia here talk about promises, I don't want to say it was like very forced or shoehorned or anything, but it was odd. They kind of didn't really have to talk about that. It just felt like a very awkward conversation to put in there. I mean, I'm glad they did, because it's further showing the importance of promises within this world, and it's reinforcing that within our minds, especially within this world in this series. Like, it does all make sense. That's not what I'm going for. That does make sense. It doesn't feel like it feels like it's out of place or anything, because it doesn't. It just, I don't know, it was odd. But I did still enjoy hearing, you know, her talk about Otto. I loved hearing her say that Otto had strong pride within him, and we know this to be very true. We know that he is someone who will not break his promises, especially when it comes to trade and anything of the sort. And who knows, maybe one of these days Mimi will step up and do something very vice captainly, but until that day comes, we're just gonna have to sit here in the same kind of boat as Ricardo, wondering why Mimi of all characters is a vice captain. But yeah, not really much to talk about from this one, I would say. But it was really nice to see some of these characters again, especially Julius. I need more Julius going forward. Julius better show up in season 3. If he does not, I'm going to be very disappointed. But yeah, we're going to check out the very next one. We're going to check out break time number 3. Here we go. All right, number 3. Let's see what Otto is writing in his diary this time. What? Jeez. Bro, that's grim. Makes sense, but geez. Garf saw it, oh no. Oh, I remember this. What are you looking for? Oh, your little diary. Well, we know he's one to read these things.
大したものじゃないですよ。ってどうして勝手に読むんですか？細けえこと気にすんな。ってなんだ？伝説の商人オットー・スウェンリッシュで。なんか書いてじゃねえか。いいから返してください。あ、そのページは？あ？一緒って。いやほら。それだけの覚悟だったってことですよ。
So this was a while ago.
これから友人のために一世一代の大勝負に挑みます。
ってどうして読み始めるんですか？
なのでお父さんお母さん二人がこれを読んでいるとき、
The way Otto is just like Subaru now.
その場合心苦しいですが、僕の知流であるフルフーのことをお願いします。
フルフ
ご存知と
ー。
思いますが。頭のいい優しい子です。いくらかへそくりがあるので、フルフーの今後に当ててもらえれば幸いです。へそくりの場所ですが、僕の竜舎の魚車台の真ん中の板を剥がしたところと、僕の
帽子の裏のてっぺんに。
Oh?
その帽子ずーっとかぶってた気にはなってたんだよな。
渡しませんよ。
取りゃしねえよ。でもよ、帽子にへそくり入れてっと調子変わったりしねえか？
Yeah, seriously?
だからこうやってうまくですね。
短い間でしたが幸せな人生でした。
自分で聞
He
いて
just immediately went into reading again.
最後にみんな本当に
He's gonna be rolling around right next to Subaru.
ほらよ、無鉄砲やろ。
ありがとうございますって。無鉄砲？
ああ、改めて思ったんだよ。てめえは無鉄砲やろう。だってね。
いや、あんな危ないこと
He jumps into danger. Oh, you do.
あったあった。
You do, though.
分かってないですよね、絶対。
待ってくれ。それ、大将のとこ行こうぜ。無鉄砲やろう。
その呼び方やめてもらえますかね。
Subaru's still rolling around.
無爆弾やろう。
いよいよ意味がわからない。
That one was really funny because it did remind me that he was throwing bombs at Garf way back when last season. So, or first part of the season. Or maybe it was this half. I can't remember. Everything is so jumbled together. But this was a really, really sweet one. Though the context is a little grim because it's Otto assuming he's going to have to end his own life for his friend. Like, he's not so much that he's ending his life by his own hands, but he is choosing to carry out an act that will probably lead to the end of his life, and he's choosing to do that for a friend. So in a way, I guess it's more like a suicide mission than, you know, suicide. Leaving a note for everyone that he knows and loves and letting them know like what he wants, and all he wants is for them to take care of his land dragon, and he is even willing to pay for his land dragon even in death, and he shares the location of some of that money, and one of those places being in his hat, which is very funny because I hadn't once thought about why he wears a hat all the time, but that is the canonical reason for it. I think that is hilarious. It really, really sums up Otto's merchant tendencies, merchant mindset very well. The only place he can trust having money is with himself. And so then obviously the whole start of this is Subaru rolling on the ground, still can't believe that Garth saw what he was doing, and that thing we know now was writing a love letter to Amelia. Though that's reminding me of the fact that there were several times within the sanctuary that certain things that Subaru was leaving behind were going missing. And I wonder if that was also Garth, because we know now that he is very good at taking things that people have written, you know, like this being another example with the diary of Otto. And it starts off very cool where he starts reading it and it's like the rise of the brave adventurer. I can't remember how he calls himself, the merchant Otto Suwin, and it looks really cool. And in my mind, I'm like, well, is he going to start to see Otto in a different light? You know, kind of like he sees his boss Subaru, but that's not the case, because immediately then he starts to read the suicide note, and he reads it out loud, which is very surprising. By the end, when he's going to finish reading it, he doesn't, or he reads it to himself and tosses it to Otto. So, you know, it was just really interesting seeing the way this played out, because it seemed like Garth didn't care about how Otto felt in all this, where he was just reading it anyway. But by the end, it's almost like he started to show compassion, I guess. I don't know if that's the right word, for Otto. And yes, Otto is reckless, and Otto does jump into danger, so I think that his new nickname is very, very fitting. I also did love that within this, it almost looked like Otto was about to join Subaru rolling around on the floor, and it would have been hilarious if that had been the case, because it would have been Garth that put them both there. But yeah, I think we're ready to check out the next one in number 4. This was another really great one. Let's see what we get. Here we go. Well, I can see we're starting this one with Amelia and Echidna, so we are deep into flashback territory now within these. I wonder what we're going to see or learn within this that maybe wasn't in the episodes. That would be very interesting. So here we go. Was she walking sideways like that? That was strange. Oh, they went through a barrier. Okay. Oh, look at that scowl on her head. Witch's Tea Confectionery.
エキドナ、今何か言った？何もないよ、まったく。何か私に言いたいことがあったら遠慮なく言って。
Her positivity, it's pissing Echidna off. Yep.
全部どうしようもないわね。でも、私はエキドナの顔嫌いだと思ったことないわよ。君の嫌いなところがもう一つ浮かんだよ。そういうところさ。本来試練はここまで手のかかるものじゃないんだ。それなのにまだ再調整が必要なんて。エキドナが下手っぴなだけじゃなくて？
What?
君の記憶との相性が悪いだけだ。もっとも相性が悪いのは記憶だけではないと思うけどね。
Oh, it's her herself. But let's unpack that, the incompatibility.
これでいい。ここまでやればもうさっきのようなことは起きないだろう。そう？
Oh, they passed through, okay, objects, so that's why she bumped her head.
君に配慮されるなんて屈辱的なだけだ。さあ、早く言ってくれ。
Is she stuck in the tree?
じゃあそうしましょう。あ。
No, she's not stuck in the tree. Oh, it's working. My name is Echidna, the Witch of Greed. She's not gonna miss a damn thing, though I suspect she knows all about everything here already. She's so slow. Already. Oh, that was so funny. I love the way they did the subtitles there. That big scowl on her face. You being so caring, yeah. But what's it to you? Why do you have these deep-rooted hatred feelings? It's not gonna work. It was nice to get some more Echidna and Amelia content here, because within the break time, or not the break times, within the main series itself, obviously 95% of the content when they were in the trial was spent in, you know, dealing with flashback moments, things that happened there. And there was a bit of interaction between Echidna and Amelia, but nowhere near as much as I would have liked. And I guess a lot of that is because most of that time that they would have spent together would have been traveling from point to point to point to point, for these memories. And so seeing here that this is the purpose and the full extent of this break time where they're traveling together to get to a place, it makes sense then why we're actually getting to see them together, because that's where they spent most of their time and we weren't really getting an insight into a lot of that time. So within this we see, like, it took me a while to realize when Emilia goes to the side, it's not that she's passing by a tree, it's that she's passing through a tree. I honestly thought she was just passing by a tree when she did that at the very beginning of this break time. And then we see her pass through a log and Echidna does not. So Echidna, as we learn, is not as compatible with Emilia within these memories, this trial. And I'm wondering if that's a consequence of her witch factor, her abilities, her like magic, what she can do. People within their own memories can just walk about, do whatever because it's their memories, but she has to have some sort of compatibility with them, and she knows she is not compatible with Emilia whatsoever. She despises Emilia, and we know that to be very much the case because they do not have many positive interactions that aren't just Emilia complimenting Echidna. Emilia does compliment Echidna here and there, but Echidna despises that fact, and she makes it very clear. So there hasn't been much of a two-way positive relationship from the two of them. But of course, Echidna manages to find a really funny way of saying she's not compatible with her memories by saying, and I don't think that's the only thing I'm not compatible with, because obviously she means Emilia here, because she does not get along with Emilia at all, and it's a very Echidna funny way to say that. And then the rest of that is Echidna trying to do the opposite of what Emilia said. Emilia showed some concern and compassion for Echidna and asked her to walk slowly behind her, and Echidna decides she's going to try and run with all her might, and her running is actually probably slower than her walking, it looked like, but it was really, really funnily well done, and I really did have a great time with this break time short. I loved seeing the content with these two together because I need more of them reacting and interacting with each other. And we see that Echidna will do everything but what Emilia says because she keeps trying, and that's how this ends. And yeah, this is a really fun one, and I did enjoy this one a lot. So let's see what we get in the very next one. I believe this will be number 5. Now we got Betty. What does Betty have in store for us in this break time short? I imagine this isn't going to go well if this is showing Betty and Subaru, because obviously that doesn't come until much later, but here we go. Silence. Damn, is this what it's like to be Betty? The silence is actually really... Oh, waiting for the gospel.
いつも遠くまで来てもらってすまないね、ジュース。
Oh, shit. We're getting to learn her relationship with Juice this way? Interesting. What was that big ass castle in the hill anyway?
ベアトリス？
良いのです、エキドナ様。
Echidna.
ベアトリス様のおっしゃる通りですので。
やれやれ。あまりこの子を甘やかさないでくれ。
甘やかしているつもりはございませんよ。
いつもそういう君らしいけれどね。
Hunda.
なのよ、ジュース。
はい。
前に言ってたあれはまだかしら。
それでしたらもちろんあちらに。
Oh? Books? Oh, for the library.
確認されますか？
That's nice. Okay. He brought the
行っ
books
ておいで。ジュースと一緒にね。
for her library. She just didn't know it. That's so sad. Wow, look at the shine in her eyes.
いかがでしょう。ご満足いただけそうですか？
満足には程遠い。
Ah,
ひとまず褒めてやろうかしら。
それは光栄です。
何がおかしいのよ。
いえいえ、何も。
かしら。
you're a silly goose, Beatrice.
ジュース、
はい。
お前もたまには本の一冊くらい読むべきなのよ。
Oh, the gospel.
ぜひ機会があれば、ベアトリス様の好きな本を教えてください。
What's she gonna say?
はい。今は忙しいですが、私も悠久の時を生きる身。
Yeah.
きっといつか
You will. You will, Juice. You lived for a very long time. What do you mean, liar? 400 years? That's a long time. It's just a shame that he did lose his mind and he wasn't himself. He wasn't the Juice that you know. Ah. Wow. Direct confirmation of that fact. We had only been able to speculate. Why that man? He was a good man. Oh, Betty, this is before you knew that he was not the one. He would never be that one, but it was better than waiting for a stranger. Yeah, that was a really good, insightful break time short, and that's why I love these break time shorts, because sometimes they actually do show you something that's very relevant and very important that for some reason was not in the series itself. And I don't understand or know why. Like, is everything that's in the break time shorts, like, not necessarily everything, but stuff like this with just visiting Echidna and Beatrice, was that in the light novels? Like, was that present in there? Because if so, why was that not in the series proper? Like, I'm sure they could have fit a little 2-minute scene in there. Yeah, just to explain her knowledge and relationship of or with Juice. Because yeah, that was just kind of left lingering, and that was one of the big questions that I had post season 2 when I finished it. I had a question of, are we going to deal with more stuff in the past? Are we going to go back into more flashbacks? Because there's still stuff we don't know about certain characters. And one of the big things that I knew that we didn't know, obviously besides everything that happened in the past, it's going to be super important and relevant for much later in the future, you know, with the dragon, with Sattler and everything like that. Like, I wasn't thinking about that per se. What I was thinking about was some little stuff like, how does Beatrice know Juice? Because we know that to be a fact, and we didn't have an answer within this season. So I'm so glad that this break time short answered that, but I am still disappointed a little that it wasn't in the series proper, and that it was just reserved for a short like this, because it felt like that was going to be something super important, right? But yeah, no, I'm so grateful. I'm so glad that we checked this one out. This one was a really, really good one. It was a great insight, and what I loved most about this, I kind of commented on it a couple times. I don't know if it was necessarily, I imagine it was intentional, but I think what I love most about this is we got an insight into Betty's solitude. She's sitting there at this chair in silence. It is dead silent unless she starts speaking. And yeah, that is something I strangely never thought about. Like, I knew that she was, you know, here, she was trapped, she was alone, she was lonely and everything, but I never considered the solitude, like the self solitude, like being by yourself in this location where the only noise you will ever hear is your own. Like any noise you make, or your own voice, whatever happens to be. And yeah, it makes my heart break even more for her that she's been suffering this fate for 400 years. Yeah, also we got a direct, literal confirmation that witch factors can make a person or a spirit go crazy. And we know, I believe we know, just to be a spirit. I think that's been confirmed. If not, then someone in a comment said it a while ago. So the body Juice is within is human, like a human body, but the spirit of Petal Juice can move from body to body, I believe, and so that's what allows him to live, I guess. I don't know really how it goes, really, but you know, this confirmation that people and spirits can go crazy with a witch factor. I believe it said can go crazy. Like, let me see if I can find it. Oh, the witch factor makes people go crazy, and even spirits. I wonder if that is the witch factor for a certain witch, or if it's any witch factor will make someone or a spirit go crazy. That's something I'd be interested in learning, because yeah, Regulus is a little crazy. And Lybat and Kaitos does seem crazy as well. So I wonder if that's just a commonality, I guess, across anyone that has a witch factor, where they're a little crazy, and it maybe affects people in different ways, like the craziness meter, I guess, because Betelgeuse was off the shitter, whereas someone like Regulus, he does seem to have more control and he does seem to have more stability, but yeah, I don't trust that he isn't crazy whatsoever. So yeah, I think that that's going to do it for this one. I'm ready to move on to the next one, but this was a really great and very insightful break time short for sure. Yo, that was so many voices. Otto's diary is back. It's the boys.
実際のとこ、お前はロズワールとどれくらい協力してたんだ？俺様がやろうと？なわけあっかや。俺様がやろうと話したのはエミリア様と大将のことでチラッとぐらいだ。
Okay.
あとはほとんど口も聞いちゃいねえ。
All he cared about was, yeah.
ああ。
He was trying to make sure his plans went through.
わかるけど、わかるけども、恋方切ってだけでそんな嫌ってやっちゃ浮かばれねえよ。別にそればっかが理由でもね。俺様がやろう気に。
Okay, we actually get to learn his deep-rooted hatred.
ガーフィールにリューズさんたちとシーマさん、当然ラムはそうだし、エミリアのことまで含めると。
That's a lot of scheming.
前準備の時点で完全不利。おまけに敵の打ち手は用意周到と。今から逃げます？
残念だったな。今の俺たちのパーティーの方針は。
Let's go.
その上でガンガン行こうぜだ。
Yep, we push forward. Why is his hand so red?
つまりだ。今回の一件、黒幕のローズワールの暗躍が半端じゃないってことだ。
Yep, certainly has.
取引して聖域の解放に反対してるとかなら話は単純だったんだが。してんねえよ取引なんざ。俺様の意志で大将に噛みついたんだ。
That's right, Garf.
ガーフィールの自己申告を信じると、状況が辺境博有利に固まってたのは何もかも辺境博の豪運のなせる技ってことになりますね。
The luck he owns.
その方がおっかねえな。幸運とか俺たちに一番足りないステージ。
Luck is the last at anyone levels.
困った話だぜ。
まったく。
つか、なんで大将と兄ちゃんはそんな落ち着いてんだよ。大将たちが正しけりゃ野郎は聖域にいる奴らを完璧に操ってたってこったろ。
Subaru's head looks massive.
ついてこれてるじゃねえか。
ですね。
そうなんだよ。これがマジならすげえやばいよな。
やばいですよ。
They're playing him.
やばいんだよ。なのになんで今あいつのとこに向かってるんだって話よ。
残念。どうやら時間切れのようです。
We're here.
到着だ。アポは取ってないけどね。ガーフィール、今はお前がいるのが心強いぜ。ああ、そういう意味ってことが。しっかりしてる
Pals.
ぜ。
We're all pals here.
俺ら二人は天下不滅の足手まといって言ってんじゃねえ。
That's funny. I love that this was kind of maybe the first time we saw the boys, right? Like, we saw them just kind of chatting, doing their thing, like, you know, walking around. Like, I can't remember timeline-wise where this would have taken place, but I think that that's really sweet, and I really do love that this was a really nice insight into just how they interact with one another when they're all together. You know, the way that they just can act around each other, because Otto and Subaru here were so in sync, and they were so tapped into each other's minds, and they know each other very well at this point. They know what each other's thinking, I would say. So seeing that they're trying to play Garf a little, rile him up a bit, and get him ready for what's coming up, I think that that's really cool. But I hope that it gets to the point where they're not just riling him up so much, and that he's one of the lads, you know, if that makes sense. And yeah, this one didn't really have much more than that. So yeah, I think I'm ready to move on to the next one, but this was a really fun one to check out for sure. Roswell, Diary of the Dark Work Sisters. Is this him hiring them? Ah, yes. Ah, they're talking through this thing. I feel like we've seen that before, that little compass, no?
どうかした？
いいや、
君を侮るつもりはないが、前回の失敗もある。手抜かりのないようにね。
Last time
そうね。仕事だもの。
with
依頼主のご期待には
Felt?
ちゃんと答えなくては。
he also hired Felt, like the
よろし
Felt
く頼んだ
execution?
よ。
じゃあもういいかしら。
いい
Why?
とも。なおこのミーティアはいつものように。
証拠を隠滅するものにする。
That's funny.
終わったの？
ええ。
そう。それにしてもエルザの依頼主って
な
変な喋り方
sure
だね。
does.
わざとでしょうけどね。
わざと？
そう。
That he
わざと
does.
お芝居みたいな喋り方で自分を偽ってる。そんな感じかしらね。
お芝居。じゃあ本当
It's
は
all
ど
a
んな顔した
facade.
人なのかしらね。
嫌いな顔よ。
見たことあるの？
一度だけね。顔を合わせたことがあるの。
依頼主と顔を合わせるなんて珍しいわね。どうしてかしら？
目よ。
目？
目を見たい。そう言われたの。
See the eyes
仕
of a
事を頼む
killer.
上でそれが大事なんですって。
Huh.
それだけ聞くとちゃんとした人な気がするけど。
依頼内容が身内殺しよ。
Decent?
ちゃんとしているはずがないわ。
エルザのくせに正論。
まあたとえそれを抜きにしても嫌いな依頼人よ。彼の目を見て感じたの。
He hired you to kill one of his family members?
そこまでエルザが嫌いな人なんて珍しい。
そうかしら。一目見て分かったわ。この男は性に執着していない。私そういう人間が嫌いなの。
全然わかんない。
But you kill, so what do you mean, cherishing lives?
さあそろそろ依頼をこなしに行くとしましょう。
はーい。
対象は引きこもりの精霊。
それと大きなメイドと小さなメイド。
それ以外に屋敷にいるものすべて。
皆殺し。じゃあ
Screw you
先
guys.
に魔獣ちゃんたちのところに行ってくるわ。
ええ。じゃあいつもの場所で。
はーい。
あの時の子にまた会えるかしら。
That young boy.
すべてを救いたい。そんな覚悟を目に
The
灯した
resolve
あの男の子に。
to save everything. This was a really cool break time short. This one went into detail about Elsa and Roswell's past. And yeah, knowing where Elsa is by the end of the series, I'm glad we got this moment here, because otherwise these might have been questions that were left unanswered. And starting off, of course, with the fact that they're using this little mirror media, which is first of all really cool, because I feel like I remember seeing Elsa holding one of these before, and I can't remember if we knew what it did, what it was at that point in time. But now that we actually get that answer, it's really cool. But we also do get those conversations about Roswell first hiring Elsa, and Elsa being called to meet him face to face, and she says that he has a horrible face, and I'm guessing that's more to do with like about a character, like the character of his character, opposed to literal physical appearance. And yeah, she shares saying that he wanted her to kill a family member. Which family member did he want dead? Someone from the Milode family, perhaps? It's the only other family we know of? Or who? I'm very curious. Is Felt somehow a family member of Roswell's? Because we know Elsa was hired to go do that. And for some reason, I never in my mind clicked that that was probably the same person that hired her. She failed in that. She didn't return with the seal or whatever it was. And Felt is still alive. So I wonder if Felt is related to all of this. Yeah, very curious. Makes you wonder. Definitely gets you thinking for sure. I just have more questions now about Roswell, because this didn't give me concrete answers at times, but it gave me more stuff to think about for sure. Just how deep rooted his plans are and everything. And yeah, I think that that's really cool that this was able to do that for me. So yeah, I think I'm gonna move on to the next one. This one was really, really interesting though. I really did like this one a lot. So let's see what we get in this next break time short. I see we're starting with the bugs, so Otto's gonna be here. Otto and Ram.
黙ってないでさっさと話しなさい。
ラムさんそっちは虫です。
What?
ああ、見間違えた。
That's so funny. Oh, she is such a mood, I swear. Oh, I love Ram. She's so funny.
何の生き物だかわからなかったわ。
確かに夏希さんの付属品扱いなのはわかりますけど、
誰かの付属品であることを良しとする男に価値なんてないわ。消えて。
このメイドさん死んだったな。
That she is. And you can't take it, so she's gotta stop.
構いませんかね。
覚えるかどうかは別にして、先に名乗ったらどうなの？
ああ、僕は
覚えるかどうかは別にして。
なんで割り込んでまで2回寝落ちしたかは確かめませんけどね。
I hope she says it again. Say it again.
1階の行商人ですが、顔と名前だけでも覚えていただければ。
Sam, I don't remember,
それは持
please.
ち込む話の興味深さ次第といったところね。
Looking at the book again. She's so funny.
これをラムが全部ロズワール様にお伝えしたらどうなる？
What if?
想像力がないの？
悪い想像しなくもないですよ。
But Subaru trusts you.
ですが、僕は商人ですから。
You trust people with your
価値
eyes.
を得るのに必要な労力は惜しみません。ビビったり手を抜いて失敗だなんて数円家の恥ですからね。
That's true.
ラムさん？
なんでもないわ。それより最初はバルスの使いみたいな態度で近づいてきたけど、これは独断でしょ。少なくともガーフのことはバルスに話していない。
やっぱりわかりますかね。
こんな無謀、バルスが承諾するとは思えないもの。たとえそんな性分だったとしても、一人でやるのは大バカのすること
It
だ。
may be idiotic and crazy, but that's the way we roll these days, girl.
そんな性分ね。
Don't you worry about that.
これを立案した
We'll
人間
figure
は
out this all out
絶対向い
ourselves.
てないわ。
僕の目こんだけはっきり見ながら隠しているつもりなんですかね。
絶対。
なんでしばらく待った挙句に2回寝落ちしたのかは確かめませんけどね。
尺だわ。たまたま出会った男がたまたまついてきて、た
Yeah.
またまラムをここまで動かすなんてね。
This moved me this far.
間がいいか。
Chance.
名前は忘れたわ。
She's forgotten his name. I love Ram so much. She is such a funny character. And she honestly might be, if not the funniest, then certainly one of the funniest characters in this entire series. She is so sassy. She takes no shit from anyone. And I'm glad that she didn't die on us at the very end of the series. That would have been really, really sad and upsetting. Yeah, she treats Otto here like an insect, like a bug. There's a bug standing there and she's talking to it at the beginning. At the start of this, I was a little confused, but then I realized what she was doing, and yeah, that shit had me rolling. That shit was so funny. She is such a funny character, I swear. Besides the conversation they have, you know, being kind of about, you know, her getting to know a little bit about Otto kind of introducing himself and sharing the plans and everything like that, and her being sassy the entire time and very rude, I would say, but it's a funny rude. The most interesting part about this whole short is right at the end where she says, someone we met by chance, someone who followed us here by chance, moved me this far by chance. And that is a great way to look at Otto. He is a character that just happens to be here. He's not someone that was deeply rooted and deeply involved in all this stuff. He just happened to be involved, get involved, not by his own will. And he's here and he's involving himself now. And because of that, he's came up with a plan. And the plan is to move Ram. And he successfully did that. He moved Ram and she is willing to help us out and be a part of our plans for this whole situation. And yeah, that's a huge credit to Otto for sure. But yeah, I don't really know if there's much more to say about this besides what I've already said. I think this was really great at showcasing Ram's personality once again, and also showcasing Otto's people skills at winning people over, because that's part of being a merchant, right? So yeah, this was a really, really nice showcase of their dynamic. And I'm glad we got to see this, very much so. So, yeah, why don't we check out the next one? Here we go. Great Spirit! We're talking to Puck! She was about to throw it. That's funny. The stone of the miracle, the path to the miracle. She was about to hurl that shit.
どうしてわかったの？スバルからは聞いてなかったと思うけど。
ラム。無茶はすんなよ。
How did she know that?
笑わせないで。バルスという男は意味のないことはしませんので。そこまで分かっていて、僕を草むらに投げ捨てようとしちゃうの？
It was to get you to, yeah, it was to call your bluff.
どれだけラムが苦労したかを考えれば、たとえ行為の方だと分かっていても少しはやり返したくなるものです。相変わらず。でもちょっと変わった。君も気持ちが前を向い。ラムはいつも前向きです。だね。じゃあ質問。
There's doubt, there's a bit of hesitation.
大精霊様はお思いでしょうね。
The fool.
ワールがリアにしたことは許せない。
Yeah.
考えてるってことは僕にもわかる。
He is a man that's hurting for something too. Yeah, that's true. He knows what he's doing and he's working towards it.
ありがとうございます。本当に彼って人間らしいよね。
After all, yeah.
寂しく。勝っちゃった？彼にとってどれほどの。
Aww.
託したからさ。相手を。
To that of another, yeah.
君も。
Aww. This is where she learns about herself. Ram learned a lot about herself here. And then they come up with a battle plan. Ram just wanted to show off her pitch. That's all it was, right? This was a really beautiful short time. It was so touching to see Ram learning about herself, and this conversation with Puck. I don't know if we've ever seen them actually interact with one another until this point. This might have been, well, up until this point, because obviously later in the season we do get moments where they're together. But yeah, I feel like this might have been, if you're watching this in sequence, the first time they interact with one another all series, though that could be bullshit. Maybe they've interacted in season 1 or something. And I think it's so interesting seeing the way Ram does have her doubts, and so her doubts materialize in the form of asking Puck, do you think Roswaal is a fool? And it takes for Puck to be literal and logical here, where he says he's not a fool because he's doing all this for something, and I can see that. And Ram is also probably aware of this, but she just has so much heartache at this point. She wants to see Roswaal happy. She wants to see Roswaal living for himself, not for someone else, not, you know, living in the past or anything. She wants Roswaal to live for the future, live for the present. So this was a really nice scene to see her asking these questions and asking about these doubts she has and being validated, I would say. It's also very interesting that Ram only ever refers to Puck as Great Spirit. She does not once say his name. I wonder if there's a reason for that. And yeah, Puck basically explains to her that she is the kind of person that he is, where she would entrust someone that she loves in the hands of someone else. And that's kind of what she ends up doing. She entrusts Roswell's future with both Emilia and Subaru. And I'm glad that we got this, because this actually was really, really nice of a scene to see, especially after we finished the season, because we know what happened at the end of the season, near the end of the season, to Ram. And so to see that these were the things she was thinking, questioning, and asking before going and doing everything she did, I love it so much. I think that this was really great. But yeah, I think I'm ready to move on to the next one, the next break time short. Here we go. I see for this one, we are starting with our girly pop. I'm very excited to see more of her, because she was, for me, one of the standout characters in this season that we were introduced to, and we were introduced to a lot. And sadly, she's one of those characters that we didn't get to see too much of, but I loved what I saw, and I'm really, really excited to see more of Minerva. I think that she is an incredible character. She has a lot of potential, and I hope that we get to see a lot more of her going forward. So yeah, let's check out what she's got in store for us. Here we go. You can come out now. What? Witch's Tea Party? Was this during when she was speaking with Emilia? She was there? Tella? Eh. Eh.
あの娘もよくもまあしなくていいことを頑張って
Here we go, lying down.
本当に
I wonder if she's just really tall when she stands up, because we've only ever seen her lie down, so it's hard to get perspective. She does. It's nice getting to see all the witches, because we didn't really see them this part.
それよりお腹がペコペコですよ。そうだね。ひとまずはお茶でもしよう。
She's who I'm guessing is the vampire. The one in the coffin.
また会えたらきっとお茶会しましょうって言ってたわよ。
Yup. Look at this shadow being cast over everyone.
できれば他の魔女たちともなんて言ってもいたわね。
Well, there's other witches that we don't have here.
お茶菓子も出ますか？そうだね。そんな時が来たら。ないよ。そんな機会は。
ない
How can you say that so matter-of-factly? No, she's not standing, she's
それは
kneeling.
エキドなあんたが一番わかっているはずさね
それは
Why echidna of all people?
エキドナ？ああ、なんだい？どうした？ドナ眠いのか？
Donna?
そういうわけじゃないよ。あ、わかっちゃいました。ドナドナもお菓子が食べたかったんですね。
ドナ
君とは違う。
Ah,
そうですか？誰でも
I'm
お
not
腹
like
空き
you.
ませんか？あんなに食欲をそそる子見たら。そそったの？そそったのね。さすがスバルンのつがいなだけはありますね。
That's
つがい
funny.
になるかどうかはわからないけれどね。
Denial,
エ
doubt.
キドナちゃんは何を考えてたの？
大方現実逃避ってやつさね
Escaping
よくやる
reality.
癖さね
セクメト、
なんだい
ご明察だよ。僕はこの複雑な感情を持ちつつ、これから起きるさまざまな可能性のことで頭がいっぱいなの
Oh
さ。
my, she's doing it again.
エキドナちゃん、今度は何をする気？
What is she going to do next?
内緒さ。内緒？内緒で悪いことするのか？
Ta-
悪いことじゃないさ。とてもいいことだよ。そうか。
Is it? Oh, the shine of red in her
と
eyes.
思ってさ
Oh, this was really nice that we got to see all the other witches, because the only witches I believe we saw this half of the season were Echidna and Minerva. If I'm wrong there, feel free to correct me, but that's, I think, all we saw this whole half of the season. So getting to see everyone again was really nice, especially now that I'm finished the season. It's just nice to have got a little, you know, reintroduction or a little moment with them each. Another thing that I think was really nice here is that we got a little tease for what's to come next with Echidna, because you could finish this season and think, well, Echidna's plans were foiled, so she's not really going to be a factor, a piece in the chessboard moving forward. But she has stated here within this break time, which blows my mind that it wasn't in the series, that she has something coming. She has a plan and she is going to see it through. But she's keeping it to herself for now, not even sharing it with these witches. So yeah, this was great. This was a really nice tease and a really nice little sprinkle of something to come in the future, that she will still be important, she will be relevant. And that's great for me because I love Echidna. She is so fun. I guess it was very surprising that Echidna was present during the scene that Minerva had with Emilia. She was just concealing herself. She was hiding. She wasn't making herself seen. I guess I'm surprised because the way that scene played out in the series, it seemed almost like this was just Minerva here, even though I was confused because I thought it had to be Echidna that would conjure this place up. And I don't really know much more to say than that, but I guess, yeah, it was kind of interesting that Echidna was here. She was listening. She just wasn't making herself seen. She didn't want to interact with Emilia any more than she had to. But yeah, let's see what we get in this next one. This next break time short. Here we go. We're starting with a starry sky, so there's no telling what this one will have. Here we go. Elsa, you're a fool. Yeah. Are we going to learn about her magic? Even though we know she's a vampire, but yeah. Crazy.
私ってエルザのことあまり知らないのよね。
別に隠すようなことじゃないし、聞いてくれれば答えるのだけど。
それじゃあ聞くけど、どうしてお腹の傷そんなすぐに塞がるのかしら？
There it is, it's
い
healed.
くらなんでも不自然よ。
Yeah, right?
そうね。これが普通じゃないことは認めるわ。これは
A curse, the curse of being a vampire.
そう。この呪いをかけられた人間は死ぬことができなくなるの。でもね、
But you died.
この呪いは普通自我を
Jujutsu. I heard the word jujutsu. What? It's not because you're a vampire? This body. Satisfied is an interesting word to use. Ugh. That she does.
ないだよね。ねえ、死ねない体のエルザより私の方がいつかきっと先に死んじゃうんだから。
You'll be the lonely one.
どうかしらね。
Tiger boy. She's satisfied. Aww. That was her sister. Wow. The credits popping up. Wow, that was so different from anything else we've seen. So different. And I love this because this takes what in my mind was a very like, hell yeah, we did it, we succeeded, let's go kind of moment in the series where I was relieved and glad that Garf had overcome Elsa. But this makes me feel sad. Like, this makes me feel a little upset that Elsa's gone, because now we're left with Mealy, who's simply mourning her sister. She's sad. And yes, Millie did some awful, terrible shit too, but in a way, you could almost look at that as that's all she knew. She was brought in by Elsa at a young age and brought up that way. So it's kind of in her nature to live that kind of life. It's all she's known. And now the person who kind of like brought her up, raised her perhaps, I don't know how long they've known each other, is dead. And so it is very, very sad and very upsetting in all honesty. This one, like the first break time, I would say, very, very different from anything else we've seen in break times at all. And it's like they knew that this was a great break time because they had a cinematic ending at the end. They didn't do their usual like black screen with a sound playing over the top and then like a little image at the bottom. Like they literally just ended it on this note of sadness. I think that this was a very, very strong contender for the best break time for sure. Makes me question more things. I thought that with Elsa being a vampire, that explained why she's able to heal and everything like that. And maybe that is the case. Maybe that is why she's able to heal. But the way she talks about this curse, it's making me question if this curse is that of being a vampire, she's seeing it as a curse, or the curse is something else that's been put on her, which is kind of how she describes a man put it on her, a very skilled magic user. It's giving me more questions because now I'm like, well, who was this powerful magic user? What's their deal and what can we do about that? That could be a problem for the future if there's someone going around giving people immortality, whether it be vampirism or not, who knows. But yeah, this was an incredible break time short. This was really, truly amazing, and another nice way to say goodbye to Elsa, because our last moments with Elsa within the series perhaps are that of a positive moment, like a moment where she's spending time with her sister. And yeah, I love that so much. But poor Mealy now is alone, and I wonder what's going to happen with her character, where she goes from here on out. But yeah, I think we should check out the next one, which I believe might be the final break time short. So if you guys have enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe if you have not done so already. Comment down below letting me know your favorite of these break time shorts. And yeah, let's check out this last one. Here we go. I see we're back with Otto, so this feels like a very full circle kind of moment right here. So here we go. Let's see what Otto is writing in his diary. He's out on the balcony that Subaru and Amelia spend those last moments in the final episode on. Let's see what he has in store. Here we go. I wonder if he's simply writing, you know, oh, Otto Nikki. I wonder if he's just writing about the events. He was... Aw, he's so lost in thought. He's such a good historian. What? That was crazy. He was writing. She's happy he's making a friend. Oh, he was lost. She was lost in thought. That's his brother. Her brother. Jeez, why do I keep saying that? Yeah. Yes. Oh, are we getting some lore? I'm very happy for him. Yeah. Aww. That's so sweet. You simply need to ask. Aww. You want to be that. You want to be like that with your brother. What the hell? Otototo. I forgot about that. Jeez.
いいお友達ですわね。
She created an
い
opening.
い仲間だ。
Aww.
あ
Otto is a great pal. They're getting the sunset treatment with the sun reflecting on their faces. Aww. That's so
た
sweet.
だいま。おーい。
Oh, here he comes.
あ、はーい、こっちです。
早く着替えろってアンネローズがうるせえんだ
And
よ。
Rose.
わかりました。ほら、皆さんも行きましょう。
あ
はい。
The little diary.
今日はもう日記は書けなさそうですね。
Such a sweet way to end this. That was really, really cute. Yeah, there's not really a whole lot to learn from this one. It's just a really, really nice final note. We learn about how close Otto is with Garf. Garf and Otto are great friends, and it's something we've seen a lot, especially within these break time shorts. I love that so much because Otto fills that void for both Garf and Subaru so perfectly. And yeah, I'm so glad that people have Otto in their lives. But yeah, Frederica is very jealous of that relationship that Otto has with Garf because she wants a relationship like that with him. She wants to be able to fill that void for Garf, but she needs help in doing so. And Petra, the animal, the beast that she is, runs in, charges in, and smacks him. And it's really, really funny. And yeah, that creates an opening for Frederica, of course, to come in and talk with him. And it's a very beautiful scene. It's very, very touching to see her welcome her brother home from the sanctuary, of course. And yeah, that sets up nicely for the end of the season and the beginning of season 3, where Subaru is asking for them all to come in, and Otto just wants to write in his little diary, of course, but he realizes he won't be able to because he's living in the moment right now. And yeah, that was incredible. That was such a great collection of break time shorts, maybe one of the best in all honesty, of this entire series. I guess that's going to wrap up for the break time short segment, and I want to spend just a little bit time talking about season 2 as a whole. I'm not going to spend too much time, but yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about season 2. I just want to highlight and answer one question first that I was asked, where I was asked by some 11111 who asked favorite episode, and they shared that theirs was really hard pick between From Zero, Season 1, Episode 18, Parent and Child, Season 2, Episode 4, and Choose Me, Season 2, Episode 24, which are probably also the most popular choices. Nobody Can Lift a Queen Stone Alone, Season 2, Episode 16, and Reunion of Roar, Season 2, Episode 21 are also really good. And to this, I would say that as a whole across the entire series, if I was to pick a top 5, and please don't ask me to order them because that is like an impossible task, I would say, just to also use some here that were also listed. I think it was episode 15 of season 1, the one with the cinematic ending and everything in the snow. That's certainly a highlight of the entire series for me, because that's when, like, obviously Juice was introduced and there was a huge threat, but for me that's when, I don't know how to say this without sounding condescending, because I don't mean that to be the case, but it felt like I knew I could put a lot of faith in the animators, the storyboard, like everything, everyone that is doing everything for the series. I was able to put so much faith in them because they handled that episode so incredibly well. And it sounds like I'm talking as someone who's read the source material, which is obviously not the case. I had loved the series before this point, but this is when everything kind of just clicked into place and I was blown away by everything. And of course, From Zero as well, then following that, 3 episodes later, holy shit, one of the perhaps the greatest scene in all of ReZero history, and it's a long ass scene, almost the entire episode. Really, really phenomenal, that scene between Rem and Subaru. I have so much love for that episode too. That is definitely the episode that solidified Rem as best girl in ReZero for me, and it's going to take a lot to budge her off that top of the list, even though she's been so uninvolved in everything recently, which breaks my heart. I just need more Rem content. I really really did love that episode too. So those two episodes for sure. Just to throw a couple more from season 2 out there, then I loved the episode that was listed there as well. Father and child, parent and child. I can't remember the title of it, but wow, what a completely different kind of episode for ReZero. And it gave me so much insight into Subaru as a character, and it really breaks my heart to think about his life in the real world. I cannot believe that that's an episode we got, because it was so amazing, and it was so unexpected for Subaru's character. And then to round out the top 5, and it's really hard to pick just 5 here, let me just say, because you know, all the flashback stuff was amazing. There were so many moments with Echidna and everything across the season that were amazing. There were so many moments in season 1 that were amazing. You know, those first handful of episodes where you're introduced to the world and you're introduced to the stakes and everything, really incredible stuff. And it's just so hard to pick just 5, but I would say to round out the top 5 for me personally, maybe, and I would have to maybe reevaluate down the line or something, I would say, I'm reading the episode titles, Love Me Down to My Blood and Guts and Choose Me. Those episodes were truly like something else. And I loved Love Me Down to My Blood and Guts because it showcased a lot of action, and not that I'm like an action fiend that I need action, but it showcased some of the best action that we've seen maybe in ReZero, and it was really well done. It was really well orchestrated, and I just really love that episode so much, because it also gave us a little bit more than that, of course. But then Choose Me, who's gonna ever forget that scene at the very end with Beatrice and Subaru? One of the best scenes again in the entire series, and one of the most rewarding episodes for sure across this entire series. It's episode 49 of ReZero when you combine seasons 1 and 2, and if you add in the movies and stuff, it's a little more than 49, right? So yeah, phenomenal stuff, that episode. And yeah, I would say those are probably my favorite 5 episodes. To talk about season 2 a little bit, I just want to respond to a couple of comments. One being, I didn't mean for it to sound like I was insinuating that Petra shouldn't be there. That was not the case. It was just more of a question of, why do they have a child in this scene right now? Because I feel like she has every right to be there, especially as a voice and a face of the people of the village. Like, that's very important. It was just the absurdity of like all these adult figures, and I know some of them are teenagers and stuff, and then there's a child. It was just a little surprising, but I don't think that she had no right to be there. I did not mean that to be the case whatsoever. And yeah, then to kind of just talk about my thoughts on the series, the season, I guess. And I don't want to make this a big long spiel. I just want to share that, my love and appreciation for this season, because I find it very hard to think back to season 1 now at this point, where I'm like, it feels like the world opened up and the possibilities and everything was so much bigger, so much more grand, and everything was huge in this season, that looking back to season 1, it starts to make things feel very minuscule, which is honestly crazy, because season 1 at the time felt huge. But that's not me discrediting season 1 at all. I loved season 1 so much. I think it was almost like a perfect first season. I think I gave it a 9 out of 10, and I still stand by that. I still do believe it to be a 9 out of 10. But season 2, it felt like there was like so much more. There were flashbacks, there were character growth arcs and everything, and character motivations were revealed to us, and the world opened up to us, and I loved it. This was such an amazing season of television. It was truly so rewarding to get answers across this entire season. Emilia took a step up. Otto took a step up. Garth, who we were just introduced to, grew a lot across this entire season. Echidna was so charismatic and so fun to be around. Just so much amazing stuff within this season, and I really just find it hard to look back now, because this is kind of like, for me now, this is ReZero. This is the ReZero that I want to see more of. And in saying that, I do want to still go back to the characters that we saw in season 1, but at this point the stakes are much bigger. Like, we have to keep going beyond where we've been in season 2. And yeah, I loved Subaru so much across this entire season. He was such a joy to see grow, and he is truly the best boy. And I am so glad we saw him go from where he was at the start of the season, from losing Rem, to where he was at the very end of the season with having Emilia in his life. And they're making promises, no more broken promises. They beat Roswell. They are going to move forward together, and I cannot wait to see it. If anyone would like me to answer any questions, leave them in the comments below. I will respond to the comments and answer any questions that are there. But I just don't know if I have much more to say. To give a score for season 2, I know I did just say that I prefer season 2 over season 1. It's hard for me to give this a perfect 10 out of 10. I'm not saying it's not worthy of being a perfect 10. I'm not really someone to give perfect scores to things unless, like, for the most part, it's something I've rewatched time and time again, and it's something that I can just go back to. Like, for me, like, to give an example, just so it doesn't seem like I'm crazy, for me, like, some of my favorite movies of all time that I would personally give a 10 out of 10 are not the greatest movies of all time. You've got a Goofy movie in there. I've got a tattoo right there. That's Max from Goofy movie. I got a tattoo of the guy because it's one of my favorite movies of all time. One of my other favorite movies, Napoleon Dynamite. Are they normally considered to be perfect 10 out of 10 movies to others? Absolutely not. But for me, it's something that I can just go back to and watch time again. They're kind of like, for me, what I would consider 10 out of 10. And ReZero, like, again, not discrediting it whatsoever, but it is a bit of a tough watch because there's so much. It's a term that's been used before in questions, and I don't think it is this kind of series, but I understand how it can come across this way. It can come across a bit, torture porny, where, there's a lot of just awful shit going on for Subaru especially. So it's just really hard to get yourself in that position to jump into a series like that and rewatch it time and time again. But in saying that, when I get caught up with ReZero, I do plan on rewatching it again in my own time. And I shared in the previous video, I would like to consider reading the light novels. So I'm not done with this series by far. Like, I will rewatch this, and who knows, on a rewatch, maybe that's enough then to give it a 10 out of 10. But I do think that this, for me, would be a 9 out of 10. That's going to do it for me. I hope that you guys enjoyed my series reaction to season 2 of ReZero. I certainly loved watching it, and I'm so glad that you guys were on the ride with me. I'm so glad that you guys were here and very supportive, because it meant a lot to me, and it was very, very rewarding to finish a video, upload it, and see the overwhelming praise, support, and just everything that you guys have thrown my way. It really means so much, and yeah, I don't think you guys understand just how important that is to me. And yeah, I hope that I will see you guys when I check out season 3, hopefully within a matter of weeks here, a couple of weeks. And yeah, that's going to do it for me for today. I hope that you guys enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe if you have not done so already. And comment down below letting me know your favorite break time short and anything else that you would like to share or ask that doesn't contain spoilers, please. And yeah, if you want to be notified when videos like this one do go live, and season 3 when it starts, hit the notification bell down below and you will be notified when those videos are uploaded. And of course, share this with a friend or someone that you think might enjoy reaction content to season 2 or season 1 perhaps of ReZero. And yeah, that's going to do it for me for today. I hope that you guys are having a great day today and that you're able to take it easy. I will see you in the next one when we return from zero in a new season. Take care.